What would it cost you if your business came to a complete halt tomorrow? Not for a few hours, but for days or even weeks because a vendor you trusted got hacked. Would you survive the million-dollar fines, legal fees, and lost clients? Most small businesses would not. 64% of small businesses do not even have anyone actively watching for attacks. That is exactly why cybercriminals target you and your vendors first. In this video, I will break down why vendor breaches are a perfect trap for small businesses and what you can do today to escape it safely. Your biggest cyber risk might not be inside your walls. Are you sure your vendors are not your attacker's doorway? I'm Kevin, CEO of Sentry Systems. For more than 25 years, I've helped small businesses control cyber risk and sleep at night without wondering if the next email or system login will be the one that takes them down. Here is what most owners overlook. Locking the doors to your own network doesn't matter if your vendors leave a window open. Most owners work long hours to keep things going, so they assume that installing antivirus, using a firewall, or outsourcing IT is enough. It feels like you check the security box and can focus on clients, inventory, or your team. Nearly half of small businesses have already taken a hit from harmful cyber activity, yet more than 6 out of 10 don't have anyone watching for signs of attack. Would you leave your storefront unlocked with no cameras and no staff? Ignoring vendor access does the same thing. Vendors, contractors, and partners usually get privileged access. They can log into critical systems because you trust them to handle IT, finance, patient software, or supply chain data. Unlike your internal staff, these outside users are not always monitored. Attackers go after vendors first because those accounts are the perfect disguise. If a criminal steals a vendor's login, they do not need to break down your defenses. They walk in wearing the mask of someone you trust. Here is a real-world scenario. A medical clinic hired an IT vendor for support. The vendor made a small configuration change and did not notice that it created an exposed backdoor. Hackers found it and used that access to quietly collect patient data. The clinic was blindsided. They thought their own security was in place, but the vendor's access became the weak link that exposed an entire patient database. Those accounts often skip the checkpoints that stop outsiders. A primary defense might block an unknown address or a suspicious login. If it comes from a verified vendor account, the system treats it as safe. That shortcut brings attackers closer to payroll records, employee details, patient data, or financial systems almost instantly. Globally, about 10% of organizations suffered ransomware in a single year, and many began with a compromised vendor path. Here is the catch. Many small businesses believe hiring an IT provider or installing antivirus is the end of the story. That is risky. Antivirus blocks known threats. Outsourced IT often reacts when something is already broken. Neither gives continuous, specialized oversight of every vendor connection. That leaves a blind spot big enough for attackers to exploit. Vendor-driven attacks are not rare events that only hit big companies. They are one of the most ignored and most dangerous blind spots for small businesses. Ignoring this risk does not just cause inconvenience, it can destroy your business. What happens when the invisible threat becomes a real disaster? For most owners, the worst part is that it can happen silently, with no warning until you are already in crisis. The costs are not abstract. Forced downtime stops revenue. Your team scrambles to recover data while customers decide whether they can still trust you. It is not just a technical issue. It is an operational mess that cuts cash flow, hurts your reputation, and puts growth on hold. One of the most dangerous parts is lag time. Breaches caused by vendors can sit undetected for months. During that time, attackers collect data, monitor emails, and infiltrate financial systems. By the time you spot it, the financial bleeding is often severe. Every hour your systems stay compromised means more charges, more damage, and more leverage for criminals. Consider a healthcare provider that thought outsourcing IT management was enough. When a vendor's credentials were stolen, attackers accessed patient records without detection. The provider then faced HIPAA investigations, lawsuits, and fines. Patients left for other clinics because they no longer felt safe. In the end, the business faced ransom demands, legal threats, and brand damage that no insurance policy could undo. This is not rare. The average cost of a healthcare data breach is about $10.1 million. Each compromised record costs about $211 to clean up. If thousands of records are exposed, those numbers climb fast. Add regulatory penalties that can reach up to $1.5 million per year for HIPAA violations, and the total toll becomes overwhelming. For a small or mid-sized business, one incident can wipe out years of work and force a shutdown. And here is what many owners miss. One breach does not stay inside one business. If a vendor is compromised, the issue can ripple across every client they serve. If your accounting firm, IT provider, or payment processor is hit, the threat can move into your systems. They do not just demand ransom. They also threaten to publish your customer data if you do not pay even more. The pressure rises and recovery gets harder each day. You cannot wait for disaster to act. You do not need a full-time cybersecurity staff or a corporate budget to protect your business. That is why Sentry Systems exist. Our team acts as your outsourced shield. We monitor around the clock, run risk assessments, train your staff, and manage compliance. We scale it to what small businesses can sustain, so you never have to choose between security and affordability. We make it manageable while you focus on running your business. If you could prevent these threats before they reached your doors, what would that peace of mind mean for you? Share your thoughts in the comments. Imagine if every vendor connection were automatically shielded while you focus on growth. A vendor cyber attack can wipe out what you have built, but it does not have to. The longer you wait, the greater the chance an attacker uses a vendor connection to shut down operations, drain finances, and damage your reputation. Expert protection already exists. The key takeaway is that you do not have to face this alone. Click the link in the description now to schedule your free consultation with Sentry Systems and secure your supply chain before it is too late.